Hello. Today we're going to be looking at VLOOKUP in Microsoft Excel. We're going to go through a little lesson of the application for using that formula. So right here I loaded this is a data set for crime data in Chicago. Let's say that we've loaded this data from a database and we have existing tables uh, to define some of the data. So let's say, for example, we want to go. Oops. Okay. We want to look at. Let's say we want to look at beat here. The numbers here. We want to kind of categorize it, assign a value for a certain range of numbers. So we have a table here that assigns different values for ranges of the beat number. So let's say we want to make a new column here. Since one doesn't exist here for value, we can create one. Let's go ahead and use this here. Let's type in value. And what VLOOKUP can do is it can look up the column values, whatever you specify. So in this case, it would be beat. Look up any of these values and assign the value from the table here according to this range. So in order to do that, we're going to we're going to enter here the formula. You enter equal VLOOKUP, and then parentheses K2, because that's the cell. That's the name of the cell. It's K2, comma table 1. That's the name of the table that we have here. I could just show you really quick. Whoops. Actually, I'll show you after. So we put table 1, comma 2, meaning that we're going to look at the second column of the table, comma true. And we put true because that when it's going to make it, just as it says up here, it says it's an approximate match of those numbers. So it doesn't have to be exactly those numbers. It's in order to assign anything. For just this example, since we're using a whole range. Go ahead and end the parentheses, and then go ahead and hit the check mark. And you see the value is 300. And if we look back at the table, and then in order to find out the name, we see here that that number was 1,111, I believe, for the beat. Yeah, so that falls within this range here. From 1,000 to 1,500. So it was assigned 300 as the value. In order to find out the name of the table, you want to go to design. And you see right there, it's table 1. And then down here we have another table, table 2. And this one is table 3. Okay, so what if we want to look at data according here to like the arrest, assigning for various properties, whether the another column said true or false. We could actually use two different criteria for having a response or whatever data you want to add. So let's take a look here, go back to original crime data, and we're going to add another table, response. And the response is going to be based off of, in this example, let's say we want to see the primary type from this data here, and we want to base it on whether the arrest was true or false. So what we're going to do to make a formula to look up this response, we're going to enter equal VLOOKUP parentheses F2, which is this column here for the primary type, comma, if, and we're using if because basically this is how you define, like, if this is this, then do this. It's a logical test, as it says there. Okay, so you're going to put I2, which is that column for arrest. Sorry, if I2 equals true, then table 2, if not, or else, table 3, and the parentheses, comma, and then column 2, because that's the data on the table we're going to be looking at, or we're going to output, actually. It's going to output data from column 2, so, of the tables. And then the last one, we're going to say false this time because we want it to match exactly what it says there with the primary type. And I recommend doing that when you don't want the approximations of what you're looking at. You want it the exact result. Okay, let me just go ahead and end the parentheses there. Go ahead and hit check mark. And then the response appears there, and we can look back at the table to see if it did exactly what we wanted. So let's say for the first one, the primary type was battery, and the rest was false. So we look back at the table, we see battery, false, and the response for that was sorry about that. These are just kind of made up things with okay, so if you want to see what the other ones look like, you can just kind of drag down. Oops, sorry. Drag down the bottom right there. So you have to make sure you hit this bottom right so you can click and drag all the way down and bring the formula down. So you see a bunch of different results for each column based off of the table. Okay, so there's a lot of other ways you can use VLOOKUP, but I thought this was probably like the most interesting or most useful, and it's best to be used with 2 criteria. If you want anything more than that, index and match would be better. Maybe might do a video on that one. Other than that, have fun with VLOOKUP. It's a very useful tool. You'll be able to kind of merge data pretty much because you have those other tables here that you want to assign values to the data. And so whenever new data comes in, you already have these tables, and you can just immediately start figuring out what data you want to find from there. Alright, so thanks for watching, and see you next time.